All right. Sorry for being a bit late here, but this is Chinese Wrestling Sit Down, where we sit down with wrestlers and personalities from within and out of China. We get a more in-depth look into who they are and their unique stories that made them become prime candidates as our main focus features right here on Chinese Wrestling Sit Down. I am back again. I am Leung, your host. And today we really don't need an introduction, but of course we still do because he's the boss. The president and owner of Middle Kingdom Wrestling is joining us with me today. Adrian Gomez, how are you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you, Al?
I'm doing good. Internet's good now. We had a bit of a issue there, so we were. Adrian is in Harbin, China. He has this, Chinese internet, and they block a lot of things, so we had a bit of trouble early on. Everything's good now, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully it'll be smooth sailing from here.
Okay, I do feel that there's like a bit of a lag, so any viewers watching right now live on Facebook and YouTube, so keep that in mind. I think there's a bit of a extra lag more than before. So first question here. So MKW Blast Off premiered on Friday, came and went. How do you feel, and what's the reception so far?
Yeah, MKW Blast Off debuted on just on Friday, and I would say the reception's pretty good. I'm actually really happy with it. We got a huge support from a lot of our fans. I think they were really starving for content because we haven't had any new content really all year. So I think people enjoyed the new format of the show. We're doing something a bit differently, a bit more that could, I would say it's part of the times that we're living in, and the show reflects that. But I would say that we had a really, really, really good reception so far.
Yeah, I checked it out too, and it was a pretty cool atmosphere, especially with very, very little fans. I think you mentioned there's only a few non-paid fans there, and I enjoyed the lighting and the atmosphere. It was pretty cool, like a nightclub almost.
Yeah, thank you.
So another question. All right. A lot of delay here, but so what's the difference between the reception between the international audience and the Chinese audience? Because we kind of go a bit differently with our internet, because China has the firewall of Chinese internet, and might be hard for those outside to really gauge what's going on in China accurately.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I would say on the Chinese side, we obviously got a lot more fans. So we had a huge, comparatively with YouTube, we got a lot more eyes on our product, and through that, you could see. I think also that's also because of the huge population in China. It's a bit easier to get more viewers, but also I would say that in China, because there is a bit of a language barrier right now. We'll talk about the commentary situation for the English, for the international side later. But yeah, I mean, people in China have been really, really into the product so far. We have people who are already trying to dig up results on the next episodes. They're trying to, so it's actually in a way, we're all quite excited and flattered that people are so into our product, where they're even trying to get the spoilers, or because this is a taped show. But we have been really good about not releasing much information since the tapings. So, but yeah, it's been really, really positive in China.
That's good. You got to watch out for those the dirt sheet leaks. Hopefully nobody from the inside is leaking out information. So before Blast Off, MKW has had a lot of different activities, a lot of different programs. Oh, you went dark there. A lot of different programs, including this show here, Chinese Wrestling Sit Down, to keep themselves relevant during the pandemic. So how difficult was it during the period of the pandemic for you and MKW?
Well, I mean, of course, I would say it's the same thing, just like your previous conversations you've had with other promoters and other wrestlers from around the world. Everything shut down here, especially here the quickest, given that we were right here in this was the epicenter of COVID-19. So, I would say we were one of the first ones to actually cancel a show. I can't think of any other promotion that canceled a show because of COVID-19 in January, and that's when we canceled. So, but we had to really look, within and see what we have and what the resources that we have, and we were able to find a lot of cool things. Obviously, let's start with this show, the Chinese Wrestling Sit Down. I think it's been successful so far, and I think we've been able to spotlight a lot of the wrestling scene in China and around the world that people wouldn't have had been able to get too much information about otherwise. And also, we've started focusing a lot on our live broadcast shows. Obviously, streaming and these kind of similar live shows are such a huge success for a lot of companies, because if you look right now, like NBA Sports and other and of course other wrestling companies, they're focusing a lot on like Zoom shows and that kind of thing, and it's cost efficient, it's easy to produce, and thankfully fans are engaged by this kind of stuff. So that's been really cool for us too. To the fact that and these are things that even when things go back to normal, I would like to keep a lot of these kind of programs that we're doing. People like this kind of stuff, and this is something where we probably wouldn't have known we could do, and that goes for the WWE and AEW and other promotions, unless there was a pandemic. So there is a little bit of positive about that as far as content creation. And now that we found the right time, and now we've decided to finally start actually doing some shows, but executing it in a different way.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the few positives that came out from the pandemic, and it forces wrestling companies to become more creative and to come up with different types of programming without fans. So we are live with Adrian Gomez, the president and CEO of Middle Kingdom Wrestling. The comment section is open. Let's take a look at some questions that we might have here. All right, DJM, will MKW ever have an online store for international fans that can buy merch? Pro Wrestling Tees store, perhaps.
Right now, we do have an online shop, but yes, it is. We ship domestically, and by domestically within China. But for being able to buy things internationally, we are going to start seriously looking at options like Pro Wrestling Tees and other merch vendors that would be interested in carrying MKW related products. So keep on the lookout for that, DJ.
All right, thank you for that, DJM. DJM had another question about commentary, but we'll go for that later on. Some comments here. Zombie Dragon is the best.
Well, you can watch the show and you'll see.
All right, Aaron Peckham got to watch the first episode of Blast Off after work on Friday. Definitely a lot of fun. There you go. Thank you for that, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
When will Mad Dog Connor and Bufa get an MKW world title shot from DJM?
Win. Jeez.
When they earn it.
I would say. I would say also. How about this? It might happen sooner than you think. So keep watching MKW Blast Off.
There you go. Good answer. Well, last time we talked to Mad Dog, he's been chomping at the bit. Let's see. My PA is taking a day off today, so I'm manning the questions. So bear with me here. Okay. Let's see this one. Sorry. Oops, here. Oops. Aziz with a comment. Adrian Gomez, what's happening, my friend? Great to see you on screen, even if it's on the side. Congrats on the recent success of Blast Off. Thank you for that, Aziz.
Thank you, Aziz.
Okay, I don't know if I should show this one, but Chairman Al the Stable is proud to announce the crowning of Lady Marie. Now it is the Queen. Queen Marie. There you go. You probably didn't need to see that one.
Yeah, she's. I hope you guys enjoyed her coronation.
DJM. Okay, how well do you speak Chinese? Probably better than me, like Mandarin, anyways. I mean,
how well can I speak Chinese? Well, I wish I could. I wish I could say I had like a certificate of like an HSK level. You know, I could say, oh, I'm an HSK 4 or a 5 or a 6. But I don't. Having said that, I would like to say that my Chinese is decent at a pretty decent conversational level. Yeah, if you want to test me or have a conversation in Chinese, feel free. We can do that.
we can do that. 你叫什么名字 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Bufa's in the house.
No, Bufa. Hope you're doing good, brother.
There you go, Bufa. All right, one more here. Why is Big Sam not doing singles matches as before?
Big Sam had a singles match on MKW Blast Off.
You gotta watch Blast Off. It's a rough ride for his opponent. All right. Okay, that's okay. Any more questions? We'll go through more later on. Thank you for all those questions. Let's continue on. Okay, let's see. Let's talk about the Jingle Warriors Cup. So what's any details that you have planned for the first women's tournament in China? And any future plans?
Yeah, well, I would hope that we could pick up where we left off. So, I mean, when we announced the Jingle Warrior Cup, the first entrant that we had announced was Leva Bates, which is part of the Librarians and AEW. And we also had, I think we had announced all 8 of the competitors. I can't remember quite clearly, but yeah, we had Zeta Zhang, Crystal, Alska. Actually, her name is Venny now, and a number of other talents. Queen Aminata. And I hope we could pick up exactly where we left off from before. We were also looking at Alexis Lee from Singapore. We were trying to get Phoenix Diana, but I don't think the date was going to work out. But if we can pick up where we left off before, hopefully sometime next year. Although I'm a bit more pessimistic about the travel situation next year for COVID-19 reasons. But I'd like to be able to have most of the talents that we had already announced at some point. We're definitely, it was definitely a big endeavor for us to do the first ever women's wrestling tournament in China. I thought it was going to be a very successful event. And, you know, just just as life is, just as it happened, just as everything turned upside down. It didn't happen this year, but there's no reason why it can't happen in the future. We just have to be very smart and calculating about when we decide to announce that again.
So for that tournament, would you prefer that there'll be fans in attendance, or you wouldn't mind having it at the same place that you have at for Blast Off?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I would prefer fans in attendance for sure. It really just depends on the situation. I also look at it when it comes to fans in attendance. I really it's a combination of things. Of course, it's safety, and it's also the fact that I feel like it's not appropriate in this time right now. I don't know. I just feel like most of the world is kind of still hurting and kind of still mourning and going through this COVID situation. And I just think throwing together a big event with a bunch of fans all together screaming, I don't know. I feel it's a bit strange. I just feel it's a little bit tasteless to do right now. So I'm just trying to kind of separate ourselves from all the deaths and the lives lost and the tragedy of the COVID-19 crisis before we decide that we're gonna have this big show with tons of fans in attendance. It's a complicated situation emotionally and of course from a health perspective.
Health and safety first, not only just for the fans, but for the boys and the workers of backstage in MKW. So how did the MKW Blast Off concept first came about? How did you decide that you want to do studio wrestling? It sounds like a David Marquez influence.
Sure. Making this kind of the concept of Blast Off came from the fact that a lot of people around me have been doing very nice and brilliant style studio shows that I always thought, you know what, if we can focus on what they're doing, kind of like obviously you can get some revenue from tickets, but at the end of the day, you want to be able to sell, in my opinion, a video product. And you look at what the WWE are doing now, or AEW and other promotions, they're focused 100% on the video, on making a nice, quality looking show and focusing on the production's values of that. And a lot of companies, and I'm not just talking about the wrestling industry, NBA is still making a lot of money, and a lot of other companies are still making a lot of money during this pandemic, even without audiences, because they have slots on TV, they have sponsors, and relying just on fans has proven on fans to buy tickets. Has proven to be not a very sustainable business model right now, and probably in the near future, I would say. And a lot of companies, the companies that are surviving in wrestling, they're the ones that have TV deals. They're the ones that have deals with video distributors. And why are they surviving without fans, without selling tickets? They're surviving because they've created a quality product that people are willing to watch and sponsors are willing to put their ads on. So I think this opportunity that I'm looking at right now, if MKW is going to survive in the future, and we're not certain if we're ever going to be able to sell tickets again, because it's hard to make any plans, then let's focus on something we can control. the quality of the show, the quality of the production, the quality of the wrestling. That is something we can control. We can always hire a cameraman with, and they could come and do a COVID-19 test and put on masks. And everyone who walks through the door can follow social distancing guidelines and so on. That we can handle, but we can't handle large crowds, and who knows for how long. So that's where the concept came from, where I thought MKW needs to focus on delivering a video product that sponsors are willing to be associated with.
Nice. So you guys have to tape several episodes at once. What are the challenges of that, and the formatting of the show? What are the any challenges from that?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. One of the big challenges was the fact that a lot of us hadn't wrestled in a long time. Most of our guys, they hadn't wrestled all year. So when you ask wrestlers to work several matches, 2, 3 in a single night, sometimes more, that's difficult. And then there also comes the point of formatting an episodic show, which is something that, I did have to go to a few people for advice, on, what's an acceptable number of matches to hold. What is the separation time between the taping, between each episode, and so on. So there was actually a lot of questions that I had to get the answers to, and a lot of advice that I had to hear in order to pull off these tapings, because episodic shows is very different than running I guess you could say a normal wrestling show, where you get 5-6 matches and top to bottom.
Nice. Breaking news: my cat has arrived. I know you like my cat, so where is he? Hang on a second. There he is.
That is breaking news. It might be breaking some other.
All right, he's gone now. Sorry about that. I don't hard to control the cat.
It's okay.
I know you love the cat, so bring him on. So how many episodes have been taped so far?
We've taped 7 so far. So we taped 7 over a 2-day period, and
quite a lot.
We're already. I'm sorry.
That's quite a bit, like 3.5 shows.
Yeah, definitely. It really was.
Wow.
It definitely was, actually. It was a workload. It was a huge workload because again, we hadn't done this all year. So all of us were very stressed and very tired. But everybody had a really great attitude, and we just we did our best, and I hope that comes across in the episodes of Blast Off.
So I heard you're going to be taping again soon. Any information that you can tell us about that? And I heard you guys like doubled or even tripled your workloads.
Yeah. In October, during the October national holiday, which in China that is the one of the longest holidays. So it's a 7-day holiday. We chose to film again, and we're gonna do 4 days of taping. So we hope to get as many episodes as we can during that. Again, it's a huge workload. It's a lot to ask for from everyone, from the camera guys, from the producers, the technicians, and especially the workers. They're the ones that have to work several matches and look like they didn't wrestle an hour before. But we're really excited about that, and we're just really grateful to have this opportunity to get back to doing this, especially since after we saw the reception of the first episode of Blast Off, it really seems like everybody has their spirits has risen to the point where everyone feels this was really worth it, and we want to keep doing it for our fans.
Awesome. Yeah, you talk about wrestlers going double duty. Like, I mean, in your case, it's gonna be triple or even quadruple duty, right? For wrestlers wrestling several times a night. All right, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for the questions. I'm going to take a bit more here. Let's see. The Terrible Children. What do you think of the most promising or interesting place for pro wrestling in Asia as a budding new market?
China.
China. There you go. Easy answer.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I just to build on that answer. I think out of all the markets in Asia, we have seen more serious wrestling attempts in China than other places, and that means that there are people in China that are willing to invest and part their money to support wrestling. Yes, there hasn't been a lot of successful attempts at it, like OWE. I would say OWE was probably one of the biggest wrestling endeavors in the world. And while I don't know if they're going to be around much longer, the point is that there is still money willing to be invested in the Chinese wrestling market than in other places, and probably even more so in China than America, as far as investing money and resources to make wrestling work. I think we're going to continue to see it. I think besides MKW, I do think we're going to, because I've been here for 5 years, and every year there's a flyover promotion that gets a lot of capital from a very enthusiastic wrestling fan / business owner, and I think that's exciting. I think that's really exciting. I'm always happy when I see another player come into China. I just wish they would stay around a little bit longer.
Would you rather wish they invested in MKW instead of creating a competition?
Oh, yeah. I mean that money that OWE received in the beginning. I mean, we're talking they had millions of dollars, like millions. I don't know where it all went, but yeah, I mean, we could have taken that off a little bit, you know. They could have thrown it a little bit over to us, but hey, there will be more. There will be more, just like them.
Nice. All right. Before starting MKW, did you have any background in live event production?
No, not really. I mean, I made myself available as a handyman at local wrestling promotions. I helped put together a barbed wire wrestling ring or a no rope barbed wire match. So I did that before. I helped set up chairs. I mean, I would say that went a long way though, because you know there is nothing like helping out at your local wrestling company. I would say if I didn't have those, if I didn't have those opportunities to move those chairs, to work a few doors, to put on the gloves and twist the barbed wire on those rings, on those ropes, then I probably wouldn't have had the skills that I would need to run a wrestling company that has been as successful as Middle Kingdom Wrestling.
So if I'm looking at Blast Off in your previous shows, like the production is actually like very well done. Was that all you, or is it somebody else you want to give credit to? Or?
The production company, we hire a local production company. So they're a small company that we've been working with for about 2 years now, and yeah, they're great guys. And the camera crew is another small group of people, freelancers that we've worked with for a few years, and yeah, they're great. We use them in Harbin, but usually when we move to, we don't have our own in-house production crew or camera crew. So when we go to another city, we hire a local company.
Well, that's good. Looks very professional. Next question, DJ M. Will Alexis Lee be in a future MKW show? You answered that one already. Hopefully in the women's tournament. We'd love to see Alexis Lee against Ray Lin.
Yeah, that could be a good match.
There you go. All right, let's see. Take that off first. Yeah, why don't we plug our social media here? Where can we find you on social media? I have a few.
Yeah, I on Twitter I'm Adrian G4. On Instagram I'm Adrian Gomez MKW. I think there's an //. Facebook on Facebook I'm Adrian Gomez 64. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, those are my main. Those are my main social media. I do want to warn some people. I am a little bit. If you want to follow me, I really appreciate it. Especially if you're following me because of MKW and you got to know me through MKW. That's freaking awesome. I am a little bit. I am a little bit left in my politics. So if you don't want somebody always commenting on the current state of politics, I do warn people. It might make I don't know. I know that you have to warn people before they add you, because they might have a different perception of me. Maybe they think I am have. Maybe they might be surprised by my beliefs and so on, but I am quite progressive in my politics, and I let that know a lot on my Twitter, on my Instagram, on my Facebook. So just keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. Nice. And if you want to follow me, I am on Twitter. All my wrestling stuff's there at Al Leung, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I think I've over, I don't know, maybe 1,200 now, I guess. And
no, 1,200, not bad.
I think I'm not sure. And of course, follow Middle Kingdom Wrestling on social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram, MKW China. YouTube is Middle Kingdom Wrestling, and Twitter is MKW Wrestling. So yeah, make sure you guys check us out for more information on future shows and Blast Off and other online shows. All right, continuing on, wrapping up here. So yeah, I think this is one of DJ M's question also. So there's a lot of feedback that fans are asking for English commentary to return to MKW, especially with Blast Off. Anything you want to tell us that might be happening soon? And I know the Chinese commentary was Xiao Jianmen's doing it, and I'm a previous English commentator. So what is the future of English commentary with MKW?
For now, I'm going to look at English commentary next year. Right now, our focus is, we're still a really small team. We're actually a really small team. And we don't want to spread ourselves too thin, because commentary is important. There's a lot of producing that goes on. In fact, I do most of the producing when I want, of the show. So if I talk to, for example, Al Leung, when he used to be our commentator, we do have to let him know during that period, we have to, push the ideas that in this episode or in this match, we want to get this across, that across. Make sure you make sure you catch this moment, blah blah blah. And thankfully, we didn't have to produce Leung too much, but it can be quite time consuming when we are thinking about two different shows, which really an English show and a Chinese show are different. It's like producing two different shows. So I don't want to spread myself too thin. Hopefully, I can find somebody that can help me do that. But also, we're really focused on the Chinese side right now. We totally adore and appreciate our international fans. In fact, I would say that we had in the beginning. It's different now, but in the beginning, we had actually had probably a stronger connection with our international fans than we had in China. It took a while for China to kind of, for the Chinese fans to catch on to MKW, but I would say that the fan growth in the international side kind of picked up very dramatically, very very quickly. So we don't want to leave them behind. But we have grown quite a bit in China, and that is where we make our livelihood from in China. And I hope in the future we can make it so that we can release at the same time an English and a Chinese version for fans on both sides. So. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to Leung about it later.
All right, we'll talk later on. And there you go. Aaron, I actually don't mind Chinese commentary. It gives me another excuse to teach myself Chinese. Also, the talents seem to be able to tell or sell a story through language barriers. That's great.
Oh, wow. Well, I think that's something that the talent would be really happy to hear about.
There you go. Let them know. All right, wrapping up here. So last question I have here. Heard you got like a bit emotional during the pre-show, the locker room talk before Blast Off, the first night of tapings. Any comments? Why is that? And what happened there?
Sure. It was a very overwhelming experience. It was the first time we'd come back when we didn't really think we would come back, or didn't know, if it would even be this year. But also one of the things one of the stories I wanted to tell, and you'll see him later. I don't know which episode, but he'll debut soon. But we had a wrestler sitting in the locker room who actually came and visited us from Qingdao, China, while we were in Harbin, and he was just a high school kid, just like 16 years old, and his dad brought him over to our show. And his dad was like, usually there's that stereotypical like Chinese parent who like only wants their kid to, have like a very professional, very, I guess you could say like a white collar job, but his dad brought him all the way to our small wrestling show, which by the way, in 2017 was a bit of a rough year for MKW. And, financially, I will say, and we're running these very small shows. And this kid, his name is Caesar. He caught on. He heard that there was a wrestling show in China, and his dad brought him to the show, and basically, not just to watch the show, buy a ticket and watch the show, but his dad's like, my son wants to be a wrestler, and like I want to help his dream come true. I thought that was an awesome story. And on that night, that kid, 3 years later, was wrestling for us. So that's why I got a little bit emotional that night, because I wanted to tell that story. I've wanted to tell that story for like years, for like 3 years, because it was really, I just thought it was a cool story. But I just wanted to say, you will see him. Actually, he's wrestling on the show. His name is Poseidon. And he had his first match during Blast Off. So I thought that was really cool. It was really cool to see that finally happen. He was so dedicated to wrestling that he chose his university after high school in Harbin because he wanted to learn wrestling. So that I thought one of the coolest stories that I've had a personal connection with. So I hope people. By the way, I hope people can check out the kid. His name is Poseidon, and hopefully you guys can enjoy a little bit of his backstory when you watch him wrestle.
All right, looking forward to that one. Make sure you guys check out Poseidon and MKW Blast Off. Is the show on every Friday, or is it like
every Friday?
Yeah.
Every Friday, 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Beijing time. Okay, so you guys make sure you guys check that out. Last comment from Tom Wang. Let's go, Adrian.
Oh,
there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tom. All right, thank you everybody for watching live. Chinese Wrestling Sit Down. Sorry, I lost my thought there. Chinese Wrestling Sit Down. Thank you for watching live, Facebook and YouTube. And thank you, Adrian Gomez, the CEO of MKW Wrestling, for joining us here today. And we'll see you guys, I believe, in 2 weeks' time. We're still looking for our guests, so make sure you stay tuned to our social media for that announcement. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Adrian. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Thank you.